Hey everyone, my name is Georgiana Haynes, and I want to welcome you to our team training for new representatives. So a couple of months ago, we started these new trainings to go through and help new representatives who were in their first through sixth campaigns just get started and get acquainted with the business. To give them a chance to ask any questions that they might have. And I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions always. So I just wanted to create a forum where representatives can come on, get connected, and ask questions, but also hear questions from other representatives. Because a lot of times, the things that we're learning, we learn from each other just through general discussion. Sometimes there's a question that somebody else asked that you may not have realized was something that's going to be important to you. And just by being in and connected, you can hear the other representatives' questions and get answers. And I realized I was getting a lot of the same questions from representatives. And I thought, instead of me trying to remember what we talked about with one representative and trying to relay that to another rep, I thought it would be just great for us to all get together and have a place where we could talk and chat. So we started these new representative trainings. A couple of you got on, a couple of you didn't. And I realized again that the ones who weren't getting in and getting connected, getting plugged in, the ones who weren't on social media or checking emails or following Avon USA representatives were sort of getting lost and getting out of the loop, who weren't getting on even our what do we call it, like the old school conference calls, because there's so much happening and it's all happening so fast. When you get started, it can be a lot of information and there's a lot that you want to learn and get caught up with. So I thought that this would be a great way that would enable everyone, whether they're calling in by phone and just listening in, or if they're online on social media, to be able to connect. Because those who were plugged in were doing a really great, amazing job with getting their business off to a quick start because they knew of everything that was happening. They were having the questions answered, and they were learning different ideas for how to go about growing their business. And then those who weren't connecting, I realized they were having some more trouble because the things that we kind of just talked about generally, whether it's on Facebook Live or in the Facebook chat, they were missing out on that. So this became a forum for through Zoom broadcasts, which allowed representatives to come into the group meeting either through the online chat, type in their questions. I know sometimes some of you are at work. I also work part-time, so there are times when I have trainings that I can't get into that I can type when I'm at work during lunch if I can't talk. And then there are some of you who prefer the phone calls. Maybe you're driving and it's easier to plug in your audio, just do a call in, plug in your headphones and listen to what's happening on the call. Or, you might be preparing dinner or something like that. As a person on the go, I understand. So I created this as an opportunity for you guys to get connected some way, somehow. So we have this training every week after our group Ants team live training on Facebook. And this was a smaller forum so that you guys could get a chance to ask your questions and not just listen to me giving a presentation or giving a topic of discussion. This was meant to be a lot more interactive for you guys to come in and ask those questions and really just have a conversation and a discussion about your business and what's been happening in your business. So today I want to do a bit of an introduction to get the ball rolling on that. So as you can see here, we have our getting started training. This is a training that I actually did when I first got started with Avon. I got restarted with Avon. It's different from the one I started when I first joined, but this one will give you a really strong foundation. And I really found that when I go through this training with my representatives, the ones who participated tended to go further. And I'll show you some of the things that we're going to cover. So this is actually 3 conversations. It's meant to be 3 separate conversations, and I usually have them with each conversation on a different week. So there are about 4 weeks in a month, so I would just rotate. So the first week we would do conversation 1, which covers how to place your first order, how to grow your customer list, and setting goals and next steps. That's also an opportunity for you as a new rep to ask a lot of the questions about how do you earn and how do you place orders online. So we really take some time to dive in deep into the nitty gritty about youravon.com, how the brochures work, and how to just get started with your business. The second conversation takes it to the next step. It talks about building your skills that you've developed in the first conversation. Now that you've kind of got your feet wet and you're kind of familiar with the business, this one goes a little bit deeper. And we also get more into the products, which you can start sharing with your customers. And we start to share different ideas on how you can use the core Avon products to increase your sales and grow your business. And again, we set goals and move on to our next steps. The third and final conversation is actually, again, how to expand your invitation list. So your first two conversations, your first 2 weeks, you're just kind of getting acquainted with everything. And in the third conversation, we really dive more into, how to grow your invitation list in the future. And we talk about group selling, which is a great way to grow your business, especially now that we have the our Avon's collaboration with Project Runway. It's a great opportunity for you to promote your business in a group setting, either through party sales or get-togethers, and we talk about the different ways that you do that. We also dive deeper into the skincare selling skills, so you start to hone your skills. Now, Avon University is going to be updating itself into Avon U, so you will have a lot of training that you'll be able to do there. But again, we're going to keep this forum and we're going to keep this conversation going and rotating every 3 weeks, so that you have a place where you can come back to ask questions and build on the things that you're learning in Avon U, on Facebook, in our Facebook group, and in our weekly ANTS Team Live trainings. So this is a chance for you as a new rep to feel comfortable asking the questions that you have and not feeling like you're surrounded by other representatives who have so much more experience with you than you, and being afraid to ask questions. We never want you to feel like that. We want you to be comfortable in growing your business. So in this conversation that we're going to be starting with tonight, I'm going to dive into conversation 1. But in this call, I'm really going to take some time to focus on your dreams, because I found that a lot of the initial questions that come with getting started, like how do I earn? How do I get paid? How do I build my customer base? Or I'm having trouble and I don't know how to go about finding more customers or making more money or hitting my goals or setting goals even. So for this chat, what I would like to do is kind of dive into setting your foundation, because what I believe, there are different things that contribute to your success. But for me, as an architectural designer, I look at it like a house. You want to have your house on a strong, solid foundation, and then you put up your walls, and then you put up your fixtures and your furniture and all the flourishes that come with a home. But if your foundation is weak and you build your house on top, then your house will, your walls, your furniture, everything will crumble and eventually fall apart. So what I look at as the best foundation for your business is your belief window. On our team, we always talk about setting goals, dreaming big, and covering your belief window, expanding your horizons, and thinking outside of the box, because our beliefs, what we believe we can accomplish, what we believe is possible, has the biggest effect on our success. I found it true for myself, and in talking with the representatives in different groups, I found that that's the common denominator for a lot of different representatives. It's not always what you know, it's not always who you know, it's not always your skill set, because as I mentioned before in previous calls, I started out as a teenager. I knew nothing about business or sales, but because I really needed the extra earnings and I was committed to hitting the different incentives that Avon had, that's what drove me to go out and learn and develop the skills that I needed. But that core foundation of believing that you can do this has to be really strong. So here in conversation 1, as you can see, we start out with our belief window. We always say, if you believe, you can achieve, and then you can exceed your expectations. So what we like to do is talk about our dreams and goals. This tends to be a part that representatives skip over, and I really hope that you guys go back in your Getting Started booklet and spend some time developing your dreams and goals, because this is going to be what drives you. If you don't really know why you're here on the rainy days, on the cold days, on the super hot days, on the days where you don't feel like it, you're not going to get out and do what you need to do, because the drive isn't going to be there. So think about what it was that got you started into this business. If you need to, close your eyes and imagine your business, where you want to be in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. Who are you with? Who are you surrounded by? What are you doing? Those are going to be the things that will help you establish your dreams and goals. What's important to you? What do you want to see happen in your life immediately? A lot of representatives say that they've joined to make an extra income. So here's an example of a representative's story. A while back, I heard this story from a representative, and it was really inspiring for me because it was the story that helped me to rethink my dreams and goals. Her goal was to save up enough money to purchase a new car. So on the surface, it looks like her goal was to just purchase that car. But as she thought about what her goals were in a training such as this, she started to question what about it, the car was important to her. And when she imagined herself in the car, she imagined her children. And she started to realize that the real reason behind her wanting that new car was so that, well, her car that she drove was like mine. It was a hoopty. And her kids were having her drop them off a block away from school. And what she really wanted to do was be able to have her kids feel proud of her and proud of her success, and, you know, not embarrassed to be around her. So her goal was the car, but her real underlying goal was for her family to be proud of her and her achievements, and have her children be impressed by her, and, you know, not afraid anymore of her dropping them off in front of school. So usually there's an emotional connection. So really think about how you'll feel when you accomplish the dream and goal that you have decided for yourself. Who will it impact? Who are you, when you think about having that goal and you're thinking about the people around you, think about how you're accomplishing that goal will make them feel. Think about your next steps, what it will do in the long run. Again, sometimes the short-term goal, it might just be to get a new car, but in the long run, it might be to, maybe you're going to do family vacations. So you want to be able to have a car that's reliable. Or maybe with your family, you don't want them to, you know, be afraid in front of their friends. You want to impress their friends and family, and you want to be the person in your town or community who has the brand new Avon car. So there are going to be different things, and it's going to be different for everyone. For you, it may not be a car. It may be the recognition. It may not be the money. It may be what having that extra earning means for you and your family and your household. As I said earlier, my goal when I first started was to just make extra income. But when I really thought about it, I realized that I wanted to make my family proud by completing my degree in architectural design, and I needed the money to pay for my college degree, and that's how that all tied in together. Also keep in mind your goal will change. So as you grow your business, keep coming back and revisiting that goal. I like to keep a dream board, and a lot of representatives recommend a dream board. So you might want to think about doing that as well. So your goals will help you establish a strong foundation, because once you determine what your goals are, you really know why you're in this business and what you're setting out to do. So once you have your goals established, I'm going to need you to take a step back. A lot of us sort of hit upon a roadblock when we think about our businesses because we're stuck in a certain type of mentality. I like to call it the employee mentality. But now, as a owner of your own business, you need to step away from the employee mentality and step into the beauty boss mentality. You are your own boss. This is your business. Your success hinges on your actions. So we always talk about these two windows, the employee mentality and the boss mentality. So as an employee, someone else sets your hours and they set your time. As a boss, what we sometimes struggle with is not having anyone to set that time for us, being able to set it for ourselves. And sometimes when we don't have that strict rule of, you have to be in at 9 and out at 5, sometimes without those restrictions on us, we lose our drive to work. We're used to those confines. So maybe for yourself, you have to set up a calendar. I know I had to do that. I had to calendar in my time. And I always recommend that my teammates and my Avon friends have a journal or a calendar something that you can use to block out your time so that you have your business time, you have your family time, you have study time, school time, work time for your day job, whatever. You want to have your time laid out clearly so that you know you're devoting time to your business. Try to devote at least an hour a day, that's 5 hours a week, to your business, whether it's an hour at lunch, half an hour before and after work, or if you can't get the time in during the week, maybe it's 5 hours on the weekend. So 5 to 7 hours is a really great place to start because you know you'll be putting time into your business consistently. Get into your calendar, set that time, and make your schedule. The other thing between the employee and boss mentality is, as an employee, you get paid whether you do the work or not. Yes, eventually you will be fired if you're not working. And I think that's the part a lot of people forget. But if generally speaking, you're there at the job, unless there's a boss who's leaning over you and making sure that you're getting stuff done, your paycheck comes regardless of the quality of the work that you're putting in. Eventually, if you start to slack or if you don't do the work, your manager will realize and let you go. But, overall, that's kind of how it works. In your business, you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be the person who says, I'm going to look at what I'm doing. Are my actions really helping me get closer to my goals? Am I really working my business? Are these activities? I always talk about action steps and business building steps. You'll hear us say often. But are your activities, your actions, are they helping you to grow your business? You can fall into a situation, and I did this too when I first started, where I was doing what I call aim, 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 and I was never getting around to fire. I was preparing brochures, I was labeling them, I was searching and doing research on how to find customers and how to talk to people and developing spiels, but I never put the pedal to the metal. I never put my money where my mouth was. I never did the action steps to get myself going in the business. And I realized that I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted to see because that connection, that small link between preparing and doing wasn't there. So you have to get in the mindset again of a boss and say, okay, these are action steps that I'm going to do. And we'll talk more about it as we go through our trainings to give you some ideas of different things that you could do to grow your business. But you have to be conscious of what you're doing for your business, and you have to be real with yourself. Before you say, this isn't working for me, ask yourself, am I really putting in the time and energy and effort with action steps that will help me grow my business into my business? And that brings us to our third point, which is the accountability factor. As an employee, again, you could be in a situation where, you're not doing the best quality work that you can. You're waiting around for the business, the corporation, your bosses, or your other employees. And sometimes you get into a mindset of what I call the blame game, where you're waiting for essentially the corporation, your company, or whoever to establish a set of rules, to establish your time, to establish when you work and how you work. And if things aren't working the way you want, it's easy as an employee to say, okay, yeah, it's my manager, it's this work environment, it's this work atmosphere, it's my other employees, it's my coworkers, it's the people that I manage, it's the customers. But as a beauty boss, again, we are accountable for the success of our business. And when you take that accountability into yourself and say, okay, what is within my power to control? What can I do to make my business a success? And, you take responsibility for your own success and not say, okay, well, the company isn't this, or the customers aren't that, or my team isn't this, or my upline isn't that. The minute you pull away from that and say, okay, what is it that I can do to better myself, to improve my business, to improve my sales, to increase my customers, to increase my customer order size, to get out and speak to new representatives, that is the moment where you'll start to see success. And I'll briefly tell you a story. When I first was getting into, there was a moment in my business where I was already a leader, but I had always been working with a district manager. I never had an upline when I got started, so I went a lot of the way myself, and I figured out a lot of things on my own. But for, say, field events and trainings, I had always been partnered with a district manager. And there came a point in my business where I didn't have that anymore. And it's sort of like the situation we have now where we don't have district managers. So I 2020 hindsight, at the time, I was frustrated because I was like, I didn't know what I was going to do. But it was also preparing me for being my own boss and getting into a different mindset. So at that time where this happened, I realized that I lost a support system that I was used to. And it was a sort of a sink or swim moment for me. I could have given up, and I was thinking about it. I was saying, this isn't working for me. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe this is not supposed to be it for me. Maybe this is it. But I had team members that I had brought into the business that I had promised to work with and walk with in their journey. So I stuck around for them, and I'm really glad that I did, because in sticking around for them, I said, I have to figure out how I'm going to make this work. And I was able to connect with others who helped me find the tools that I needed. And I did research online. I got a lot of self-help books, Jim Rohn, Darren Hardy, you name it. Just Google personal development, leadership development, anything that you can find. I went to the library, I got books, I got audio trainings, I got CDs, I got magazines, and I really just dove into developing myself personally to be on track to improving myself as a leader. I'm not going to say to be the best leader that I can, because I feel like I haven't reached that point yet, and I probably never will, but it's a constant journey. But that shift in my mindset to say, okay, I'm in charge of this success. I need to be able to better myself and get myself on the road to bettering myself so I could better service my team, my customers. That was a life-changing moment for me. That was when I started to see success in my business, because I put the success or failure of my business and my team's success or failure on my own shoulders. And when I picked up that weight, they always say you'll never know how much you can carry or what you can do until you actually do it. And that was sort of the moment for me. So I encourage you from the beginning to get yourself in that mindset where you're in charge of your business, of its success or failure, and you take that responsibility on yourself to better yourself and constantly be improving yourself. And don't cheat yourself by playing the blame game and looking for other places to point fingers. If you're finding yourself in a problem, you have plenty of support. We have an amazing ANTS team that you can get connected with. There's so many supports on Facebook now, and on social media, in addition to the resources that I used way back when at the library and through audiobooks and trainings. If you're really, really committed to success, and be honest with yourself, you can find it, and you can accomplish the dreams and goals that you've set out to achieve. But you have to make the decision of, I'm going to make it, or I'm going to die trying. A few years ago, we had a conference. Avon sponsored our Rep Fest, and they invited Darren Hardy to come and speak. And one of the things he said that I'll never forget was, you have to pick your mountain. You have to cut out this flip-flopping, wishy-washy, here today, gone tomorrow type of mentality, that employee mentality of jumping around from job to job while you get a better promotion, or so you could get better benefits so that you can be closer to home. This is your business. You have to create all of the things that you want for yourself in this business. Make this your mountain and stick to it. Be determined to climb to the top, and make it, say to yourself, I'm going to get to the top, or they're going to find me here at the bottom of the mountain dead from trying to reach the top. I know it's a little bit morbid, but it really put me in the mindset where I was like, yeah, I am either going to get to the top, or, the option is dead at the bottom. I don't like that option, so I'm going for getting to the top. And that has been the drive that's been keeping me going and helping me to overcome obstacles, which I realized were more inside of me than outside of me. And I'm sure that you will find the same things yourself. So that is what you start with for building your foundation. Now, I'm going to keep doing these trainings with you guys and opening up these Zoom meetings so that you can get connected with me. I'll post the link below. I'll also share live in Facebook or share the replay after, but only for a brief amount of time. I'm not going to keep these up because I want you guys to not feel like, oh, you know, I could just watch later and not get around to it. When you're engaged and you're involved and you can respond quickly by asking a question to something you've heard right away, you'll get more out of it. It's only 3 weeks, so it'll be a great opportunity for you to at least do the 3 weeks. A couple of minutes for your first 3 weeks so that you can have a firm foundation for the future is well worth it. And even if you can't be on the call at this exact time, if you could watch it within the same week, so at least you're on the same page as the other reps, that would be amazing too. We're going to keep this going, as I said, for representatives from campaigns 1 to 6. I'm going to create a space or a chat or something for you so that you can stay connected and plugged in, so that, you know, while you learn to swim, you'll have your, what do they call those, floaty devices? Will be your floaty device while you learn to swim in this business. And then as you pick up speed and feel more comfortable, then you can move out into the more mainstream area after your 6th campaign. But we just want to make sure that you have a strong foundation. And I hope that the tips I've shared with you kind of help you along your way. So our next thing to do, I really want you guys to think about setting some goals. Now that you've thought about what your real overall emotional why is, start setting some goals for your business. What are you going to do to help get closer to your goal? We're going to talk more about this next time to help you go about setting your goals and how you do that. But here's a quick plan that will kind of help you start roughly. So think about what I like to do, and even now, even though I've been in this business for 13 years, I still do this. I look at what my earnings goal is, and I divide that by the percentage that I'm earning. So I'm a President's Recognition Program member, so I earn 40% automatically on all orders. Those of you who are in your first 6 campaigns, you're going to be earning according to the Kickstart bonus. So when you hit different sales goals, you'll get 40%, starting with 150, 200, 250, etc. So Avon's kind of made that easier for you by helping you start off by having some goals set for you. So, but I don't want you to feel like, okay, well, my goal is 150. If you have the capability of doing 300 or 400, we've had representatives on our team get first orders of $500 and $600 and even $1,000 because they expanded their horizons and pushed themselves out of their comfort zone and hit those goals. So think about what you want your goal to be. First, start by thinking about how much you want to earn, and then work backwards from there. So if your goal, for example, is to earn an extra $40, an order of $100 will give you $40 earnings. So if your goal is to have an order of $100, then what I like to do is that I like to use the average customer order, which is about $25. Yes, we're working on increasing that with tools like the A-Box and the brand new products that we're coming out with, the social media that Avon is developing to help us promote our business. But I like to use $25 as an average. So divide your goal, your sales goal, $100 by 25, and that will give you the number of customers that you have to service. So for a $100 goal with a $25 customer order, you're looking at about 4 customers. So that will help you to say, okay, well, today I've spoken to X amount of people and I've gotten 1 order. Instead of just stopping there and saying, okay, great, I got an order, you can, you still have 3 to go. So it'll encourage you to go out and keep talking to people. And if you're listening to me and looking at me like I have 2 heads, like $40 isn't enough. It's just an example. Use it and work backwards from there. So if your goal is maybe to have, I always have to pull out the calculator for this because I'm not good at math at all. So let's say, you guys can see the calculator here. So let's say your goal is to have extra earnings of $200. So what you'll do is you'll multiply that times 200 times 4, Did I say $200? Yes. 200 times 4. Sorry, divided by 0.4. If I can get 200 going, divided by 0.4. That shows you 0.4 is the decimal version of a percentage. So 40% is 40 over 100.4. So you know your sales goal is going to be $500. 500 divided by 25 is 20. So you're servicing about 20 customers. To be honest with you, I think that's a really great average to aim for, because a $500 order will get you tracking for President's Club, which is the group that Avon has for representatives with high sales. It gives you an automatic 40% on your orders. It also gets your invitation to a special recognition dinner and luncheon. Plus you can order more items from your What's New catalog. So with this method, you'll see that that working with 20 customers will help you hit your goal. So all you do is take your goal, divide it by 0.4, and that'll give you your sales goal. Divide that by 25. Let's do another one. Let's say your sales goal is to make an extra $1,000. So you'll take 1,000 divided by 0.4. So that gives you a sales goal of $2,500. $2,500 divided by 25. That means that you have to work with 100 customers ordering $25 each. So you could break that down even further and say, okay, well, if my goal is 100 customers, I need 50 customers for each week in the 2-week selling campaign. So you divide that by 2, so you've got 50. And let's say you're working 5 days a week, you divide that by 5. So you know you're aiming for 10 new customers per day. But just use that as a way of setting your goals. So here we have on our chart a way for you to just work on that. You could do it on a piece of scrap paper. You can do it in your Getting Started workbooks. But you'll work with your number of customers, that $25 average customer order, and the sales that you need. And then you can make a note of your first goal and how much you're aiming for to earn for yourself, and a deadline for yourself. So you can use your first campaign as your deadline, so that you can start tracking and getting your goals on point. So next week we are going to come back, and I'm going to be doing more training. I'm going to help you build your customer invitation list. And in the meantime, we're going to work on placing your first order. But in the meantime, as you're going out and you're thinking about the customers you're going to speak with, also keep in mind that you have your daily care collection flyer. That's the flyer with the Skin So Soft bundle for $19.99. Leverage that flyer. If you don't have it, email me, text me, or I'll probably post the link to make it easier under this video so that you can find it. But leverage that flyer, because it's a special offer that's only available through new representatives. So they can't order from us. So this is a chance for you to offer something unique to your customers. And you can use that bundle. It's $20, $19.99. So you can use it in the same way that we did your order goal, to set your goal for how many customers you need to service so that you can reach your goal. So again, just instead of dividing your goal by 25, you divide your goal by $19.99 to see how many customers you need to hit your goal. And that will help you, as that flyer will help you whether you're waiting for your starter kit, or if you just want something new and unique, or if you're not sure what to share with your customers. While we wait to get into things that you can say to promote your business in our later trainings, you can just start by sharing that flyer. It has some tips for what to say, what to text, what to post on Facebook on the back, so that'll really help you. So I hope that our first training has helped you just get into the proper mindset of success in this business. And I'm sure that as beauty bosses, you guys are going to be well prepared for success in your business if you just keep your eye on the prize. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys again next week. And if you're a leader watching this, please be sure to invite your team, send them a text, reach out, and invite them to join us so that we can make sure that everyone's getting the information and the answers to the questions that they need, all together. So I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys. Have a great evening, and I'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye.